Hey, beautiful souls. Welcome back or welcome to The Hawk and I. My name is Lana Zelinsky, and I work in the spirit dimensions. As always, in all my videos or on my live feeds, simply take what resonates, and you're welcome to leave the rest right here. Happy Friday. We made it. We made it to Friday, and it's a glorious day energetically. It's been a wonderful week. I've been sitting with a lot of gratitude the last couple days, right to that emotional level of gratitude is kind of how I've been feeling. I had a very interesting transmission from Spirit this morning that I'm kind of excited to share with you. I'm always excited to share what Spirit has to say, but there's been some really interesting shifts going on, and I think we're in for a very interesting November. And November feels good. When I say interesting, it does feel good to me. um, I kind of got when I sat with Spirit this morning, I kind of got rewound back to a question that I asked the group a few lives ago, and I'll ask it again for those of you who may not have been here on that live, or perhaps you were, and yet you did come up with an answer to the question that Spirit had asked. And the question was that Spirit brought me back to was, what do you need? I got kind of rewound back into that space from I can't remember exactly what live that was, but it wasn't that long ago. And as we kind of navigate through not just the weekend, but I feel the month of November, I feel one of the answers to what do you need, and Spirit kind of shouted it out to us, was healing trust wounds. So I'm just curious, as to those of you who are tuning in today, has trust been a bit of an issue? Do you have some wounds there that, perhaps trust has been broken? Perhaps you haven't kind of tapped into that space of trusting the trust, the level of that, the space in that. And are there some trust wounds? Are there some scars or some bruises or some open wounds there that kind of need to be wrapped up in a little bit of love and a little bit of understanding and a little bit of grace? And I feel, what Spirit was kind of really pushing was this feeling of moving forward through that, with understanding that yes, life happens, stuff happens, and we often hold on to that space of trust, and the bruises and bumps that we take in that in that moment, in that feeling, in that learning. And sometimes we hold on to that with I'm not going to trust again, I'm not going to open up my heart space again. That struggle of even trusting yourself. I made a decision and it didn't go well. And we kind of have that trust. And it also branched off into that trusting of our spirit guides and trusting of our higher self, and kind of leaning into that with just a little bit more. Is there room for growth? Is what Spirit kind of asked me to ask you all, is, are you aware of the healing that needs to happen around this topic, around that trust and the transformation that comes with that? The other interesting thing, excuse me, sorry, is with this whole trust space and with this whole, where you are in that trust and where you are in that healing, it also leaks into, and this is kinda how I felt it, it kinda leaks into timelines, because when you think, and I had a huge aha moment with, when Spirit kinda started talking about the whole timeline space, is when we have moments or ish or times or learning around trust, and when we kind of don't allow ourselves to work through that with the whole timeline space, it does pull us back into the past, into that past timeline when we were hurt, or when that trust was broken, or when there was a situation that kind of bounced us into not trusting. It kind of keeps us in that timeline space of, yeah, but this happened to me before, yes, but this was before, and it kind of pushes us back into a past timeline that we kind of spend a little bit too much time in. And it's about learning and going forward, and learning and going forward. And as I was kind of sitting that, when I was sitting in that, and I just kind of felt this powerful opening of peace and calm when we kind of heal those trust wounds, when we kind of tap into that feeling of healing and learning how to trust again. It kind of shifts into the more of that power of now timeline, and it kind of gives us more of that brighter outlook to what's coming from other people and with relationships and a collective feeling. It kind of moves that timeline or moves us out of the timeline of the past. And for many of us, the past, is a place that we do get pulled into. But this happened to me before, but this happened to me before. And what Spirit has been saying is dive deep. And I literally felt myself plunging into like a deep pool of water or like a deep lake. I just felt myself going very, very deep. Like I literally took a dive into that deeper space. And all of a sudden it became very bright and it became very peaceful and joyful with that space of healing those trust wounds. And I think that as we kind of move through this and as the global awareness is kind of shifting, we kind of struggle with allowing that to kind of go deep within ourselves. And it was kind of a very I'll use the word allowing, but it was also a very a much recovery feeling. I started to feel this energy of recovery that we're recovering from, and we need to kind of sink our teeth into that space a little bit and kind of allow ourselves to work on that space of going deeper with the trust. Now, that's not all that Spirit said. Um, the other thing so as I was kind of like going deep, deep, deep into this pool of water, as I started to float back up, I started to feel the shift moving, and I started to become very aware of joy. Of the feeling of joyfulness, the power of love, and the movement of peace kind of shifting through my physical body. And one thing that Spirit said is ask your group if they're willing to do a bit of a personal challenge, and track what you allow in as far as trust, and track also the love and the peace and the joy that you do receive, that you do allow. The moments where somebody, even the smallest moments, Spirit said the smallest moments where a stranger smiled at you, that is a form of joy and love. And or somebody grabbing your hand, that hug somebody gives you, or perhaps it's an animal that kind of curls up on your lap. And are we enjoying that? Are we simply allowing that to kind of move in at that deeper level? So, I when Spirit gives me a challenge, I always roll up my sleeves. So I encourage you to give that some thought over the next couple days. Is just take note. Just take note of the challenge. Are you trusting enough to allow the other energies to come in closer? How many times did I let those feelings come in? Because I think, and Spirit was so right, we kind of lean into what's wrong, what's not right, what's going on. And we kind of spend a little bit of time leaning into that, and we don't take note of all of the times where there were other things around us that we could have let in, that we could have held closer. And it quite often is because we don't trust the good things. We don't trust what's coming through, and in those good ways, that's just kind of tapping at us. Let this penetrate into your energy. Let love in, let joy in, let trust in. And as we kind of navigate through that in great big white words, it was written in literally light. It was like everything was black and behind it, and it was literally like lighting. And the word recovery was like huge, big, bold letters. We need to recover from some of those deeper wounds. And I really feel that coming into we are into November, and you don't need me to tell you, after November comes December. And then we have January coming in with the whole new year and the whole new space. Just kind of lean into that a little bit where am I with those trust wounds? And am I allowing other energy to kind of come in and move through me and feeling the shift and feeling the joy and feeling the love and feeling the peace at a different level? Right. Very interesting words from spirit this morning. And I kind of sat there a few extra minutes just kind of processing it a little bit, and taking a deeper look. Sometimes we don't sit with where we're hurting, right? Where are we hurting energetically? And processing that at that level. So take a look at those trust wounds or any other wounds that come up. And healing wounds, the healing is in the light. The healing is within nature. The healing is within you. That's where all the healing is. Very moving. I hope I was able to express that at a level that spirit was shouting it at me this morning. Let us go through some questions or the comment section here. There's quite a few of you joining me this morning. Thank you very much for coming on in. Um, KS, I had my own shift finally. My husband left my husband. Peace, love, and light. The separation is so painful, though. Any guidance? It's okay. Yes, I wouldn't that trust wounds. To have the healing, to have the TLC, to be able to process a lot of that, and I get it. We've all everybody here, I'm sure, has had a relationship issue or relationships that have ended. There'll be friendships or intimate relationships that have ended, and the healing process. And I feel like I've got to just remind you to be gentle with yourself through a lot of those wounds. Right. I'm learning and I'm strong and I'm processing and I'm healing. And, there will be times, KS, where you will rebuild trust at that level, at a higher level, to allow yourself to shift into either a new relationship or to allow yourself to shift into this new version of yourself because you are coming into a new version of yourself, KS. And sometimes we lean into a lot of the brokenness and we don't do anything about it. And whoa, that was them. We don't do anything about the brokenness. We have to allow the healing and we have to kind of connect to that, and allow the light in. So KS, feel your own strength, feel the power of the healing, and being open to the releasing space. There was a lot of good. There was a lot of learning. There was a lot of shifts for you, and you're right where you need to be. And I think that's one thing. I don't know if you've been hard on yourself with here I am with an ending a relationship at this age and starting over. Embrace that. Don't look down on yourself for that, for being in the space that you're in. It's forward momentum, and I really feel like you need to hear that. Deanna, I need emotional stability from those around me and for myself. Deanna, I'd like you to start with the emotional stability from within. The work has to come from within first, and quite often, and I'll say this very very lovingly. Quite often, we see a reflection in other people about what's going on within ourselves. And so sometimes if we're putting out an instability or we're putting out that struggle, again coming inwards with that healing, again coming inwards with sitting with that and allowing that energy to transform. And as we kind of allow it, and it is an allowing thing. And for a long time, when I would lovingly argue with spirit. I am allowing it. And spirit's like, no, you're holding everything right about here. Where's the resistance in allowing that, whether it be letting go, whether it be, being able to surrender it. We will let things go and then we'll pick it back up again. And spirit has shown me that even in my own personal life. Why are you picking that back up? And I'll be like, well, I don't know. And quite often it's the comfort space, right? We're comfortable even when things are uncomfortable if it's been our go-to place for a long time. So if you've had that emotional instability for a long time, even though it's uncomfortable, it's comfortable to lean back into. And I think when we see it in other people, it's kind of like that mirror reflection of the inner work that has to be done. When we do our own inner work, and I've seen this over and over again, when I work on myself on something, it's a natural boomerang effect from the people that I'm closest to, people in my household, people that I connect to. It's a natural boomerang effect because the energy kind of moves outward. They start to take notice of their own things too. It's just it's a natural boomerang effect. Try it. Try just without judgment of other people what they have to work on. Start just working on yourself, and you will emit that light outward. And people, they always have choice and free will, but most times people will say, I want to feel like that too. Look at Deanna kind of feeling better and be more emotionally stable. And they will come to you and say, hey, how are you doing that? And you'll say, I'm trusting and I'm healing and I'm allowing love and joy in. And that's the simplest thing, is being able to release it, trust it, and allow something different in. And it sounds very simple when we listen to the words, but it can be very difficult and challenging to do, can it? It can be very difficult and very, very, very challenging. Opening of windows of opportunity is the other thing that really helps. I go around, even if I don't actually open the window, I usually do though. I'll open a window and I'll just simply say to myself, I'm allowing old energy out and new energy to flow in. And I think, not only is that kind of a cleansing of a space, but it's also the actual act of what I'm willing to do. And when you start to do those actual acts, it becomes more of your more dominant vibration. And I think that is so important, is where's the most dominant thing that's going on with you? And it comes back to that live that I did. I can't even remember when it was, but it comes back to that live of asking yourself, what do I need? Right. And I think that is such a powerful question. And if spirit pushed me back into that, that's something that's huge that's going on right now that we kind of need to kind of sit in. All right. Kayla, yes, I trust, but deep down trust is difficult for me. So, Kayla, that trust wound space, what's there? And you might not even know why you're not trusting. You might not even know. Sometimes we don't. Why don't I trust that? Why am I wounded in that space? You don't always necessarily have to label it. This is what happened to me, but you can kind of allow that healing space. The other thing is when we kind of work on that trust wound, it also increases our connection to our intuition. It kind of pushes that in deeper when we work on that trust wound. It's not just working on the trust that we have towards other people, it's working on that trust wound that we have within ourselves, because sometimes that wounded space is our own trust issue. It's our own self-reflection. It's our own what are you holding yourself, what are you holding yourself to? Like, does it connect? You can just simply ask yourself, does this trust issue connect to a decision that I made that didn't go very well? And if you answer yes, then simply ask yourself the question, with the knowledge that I had at that time, that version of myself, was I doing the best that I could? Yeah, you probably were, right? Um, Fran, for sure, trust is a huge issue. Deanna, trust with spirit is not an issue, but spousal trust is wavering. Now, I'll tap into that. So, because let's be brutally honest, sometimes there's a reason not to trust someone. Right. Let's kind of dive into that. Sometimes we feel intuitively that there's a reason not to trust. If I feel, my spidey senses are telling me I don't, there's something going on here. I will truly tap into that with, where is this coming from? I'm feeling it here, or am I feeling it here? And if I'm really feeling that there's something I'm not trusting, I will kind of observe. I will go into the observation mode and just watch. I'll just watch, and I also ask spirit to show me. Make it very clear what I need to see. And when we say those words, and when we truly want that, don't be surprised that you start to see things. And it's not that, and sometimes the shift with people, and I've talked about this before. Sometimes relationships are shifting because we need to shift. We need to be in a different space, or we need to go, in different directions from one another. And sometimes we are being shown that. So sometimes, because there is the other end, like we have to look at this both ways here. Sometimes the whole I'm not trusting something because there's something going on that I need to be aware of. So, just kind of unravel it a little bit, and don't be afraid to go into observation. Sometimes we get really I'll use the word defensive, or we get really kind of in an alignment of searching it. Observe it. and call it out. I always call it out. I call it out all the time. I say to spirit, show me, show me, show me. And I've told that to you guys a lot as well. Go with the show me what I need to know. Show me what I need to know. I hope you find that helpful. 10, this morning I've been pulled to just ask myself, what do I need in meditation rather than what should I do? Trust wounds and I am bad core wounds are particularly sensitive today. And I think we're gonna feel a little bit of those wounds over the weekend. I do feel like those wounds are gonna and the reason why. So and I'll share a little bit with I wasn't going to, and then spirit gave me the go ahead to share it. I feel that 2024 is going to bring us into a very interesting space of strength. I feel that there's some strength coming in, some strength energy. And when we go through a lot of our healing, we come out of healing stronger. And that doesn't necessarily mean I feel 2024 is going to be a bad thing. I'm not saying that at all. I feel like there's going to be some strength momentum. We're going to be stronger, and it's going to be and for a big part of that reason is we've done a lot of healing work. Just think of this group here, right? Just think of us meeting 3 times a week, working on our stuff, working on the healing. We're coming out stronger, and we're coming out, in bigger numbers, and we're going to be entering 2024 into a space where I don't know the exact numbers, but let's just say the channel had 1,000 people in 2023. We're over 4,000 now. That is stronger numbers collectively, isn't it? So, and we've been all working on that. But I think 2024 is going to be a year of some strength and some strengthening. And I also, and I'll share a little bit more. They're like, share it. It's okay to share it. You don't have to save it for New Year's. I also feel that that strength that we are going to be stepping into is what's going to pull apart what's broken, whether it be systems or situations. That strength collectively, I think there's going to be some falling down in 2024. But it's going to be strength collectively. Let's see where we need to go here. We're here for you, KS. I love that, Kayla. Yes, we are. Um, KS, I'm proud of you. Growth is the only thing that can come from it. I love this supportive community. I know I say that every single time, but my heart and the spiritual goosebumps that I get when I read your comments to each other, I'm telling you right now, it is just profound. And the vibration that this group puts out is and it emits to one another is just so glorious. Um, Ashley, I feel like I'm struggling with my primary job right now. Does Spirit have any advice for me? Should I stay in my current role or go back to my old one? I don't feel it backwards. I don't feel it back. I actually feel forward. So what I'll go back to, I'm not sure actually if you've heard me talk about this before. I got to get you to lean into I'm open to new opportunities. I'm open for things that are for my highest good. A little bit of self-talk, a little bit of manifesting. I'm allowing new things to come my way for my highest good. I feel that you're being shown that there's a shift that's coming for you, and it feels very good. So don't panic. I feel like you're being shown something needs to shift, and I just got to kind of get you leaning into more of that allowing. I'm grateful right now for my job and my paycheck, but I am so open for new opportunities. I need that momentum, and I do that every single day. If Spirit said to me, I say it to Spirit all the time, I'm open for whatever new opportunities are for my highest good. And if Spirit said, well, we're shifting this and what we're doing, I'm going to embrace it, even though it may be very unknown or very uncertain. I'm still going to embrace it. I need you to get in alignment with that. That new opportunities are always flowing for me. Abundance is always coming to me. I need you to kind of lean in there a little bit. And I also have to pluck. I just seen a pair of tweezers. I need to pluck out the fear. I just need to pluck it out. Literally I don't feel you have a lot of fear. It's like a little pluck. I just have to pluck that feather. I need to pluck out the fear with I'm gonna trust where I'm going in the direction that I meant to go in. But actually, I don't feel it backwards there. I don't feel like back is where you're going. I feel a different, very, very forward momentum there. Um, my friend has been experiencing some health issues. Medical results so far have been inconclusive. Do you feel into anything with her? Alina, I know you know that I'm not a doctor, so and I'm really grateful that she's leaning in on the medical world there. Um, And I can only be honest, right? I feel a little uncertain. I really do. I don't feel terrible with it, but I also feel, and I need to ask you this, because my physical body's feeling kind of heavied out. Has there been with your friend a long period of stress and blocks? Because I feel very blocked, and I don't feel like things are flowing in my body. My circulation doesn't feel great. I feel really tight. I feel like I've got to kind of working more on that physical piece of healing and allowing while she continues to navigate with the medical world. But I feel so tight. I don't know, is there circulation issues going on, or is there something that's tight that I can hardly move I can hardly even lift my leg. I feel that tight. And I feel like it's a lot of stress and heavy stuff. So in her past or current situation, has she been navigating through a lot of that? I'm just curious on that. Um, Spring Hall. There was a question regarding my son's medical diagnosis of scoliosis. Do the spirit guides have any info they can share regarding that? Spring Hall, I feel like I need to encourage the medical world with that one. I feel I feel that and I don't feel terrible with it, first of all, Spring Hall. But I feel like I need to the medical world, I need to just kind of push a little bit into that. I feel and I do feel like scoliosis is a curvature of the spine. And I do feel that there is something related to that. I'm just not 100% if it's scoliosis, but I feel like the medical world needs to dig. I can see a shovel with the medical symbol on it. So for me, that means the medical world needs to just do a little bit of digging. But I don't have a horrible feeling with it. It's like I just see a lot of light around him with this situation. Um, Very crazy few months, lots of struggles and lots of love. Deanna, is it possible to change or soften an extreme narcissist? Random question up for anyone to answer. Okay, so the only people that can change or soften is themselves. I do feel that we can send people energy, but they have to be willing to pick it up. I also feel, though, very, very pushed to talk to you about um, protecting yourself energetically and quite often softening your own energy with protection. Sometimes when it comes to people's behavior, we can't change them. It's their learning. But we can send them healing energy. We can get more of into our own lane with it. When people are going through their own issues, no matter what it is, we can't get in their lane, because when we get in our lane, we get run out of our lane, we get run over. And we get run over from people that are not doing their healing work or not working on their issues. And sometimes people aren't even aware or can't see them. They sometimes people just cannot see their own crap. Right. So, and that's their experience. That's their learning. I will often look at people with, how does spirit see them? Spirit sees them as a loving soul here having a journey that may or may not be going great, but they're still a soul, and they still have their own work to do. But don't ever get ran over by other people's stuff. Stay in your own lane, and navigate the relationship from your own lane. And sometimes, like, there are, for some people, no, not all, but some people just can't fully step back from people in their lives for multitude of reasons. But you can kind of protect yourself from certain energies, or the boundaries of how close you're willing to drive. Like, some people can drive like this, side by side, each in their own lane. Some people have to drive here, and I have to drive here, side by side in their own lane. Other people, it's a complete disconnect, and they know what's best. You know what's best for you when it comes to that kind of stuff. But people, I truly firmly believe this. We can hold the door open for people to absorb the light, or to shift, or to change, or to help them work on their stuff, but they truly have to do the work themselves. We can't rescue people. We can only lead, show them the way, or present things differently, or lead by example. But we can't do it for them. We can't soften them for them. I hope that makes a little bit of sense for you. And with all the healing work And with all the teaching that I do, quite often people will thank me. They'll say, "Well, thank you so much, you changed my life." And I always say, "You changed your life. I just opened the doorway for you." Right? So you can open the doorway for people, but they literally have to do their own work. It's so important that we understand that, because I think sometimes, what's right for us might not be right for other people. I'll leave it at that. Travis, I'm going through a rebirth of sorts right now. It's been challenging, drama in romance, friendships, money challenges, job search difficulties. Is there anything spirit has for me? Travis, first thing that I have to say to you from spirit is you're not doing anything wrong. So I don't know if you've had a little bit of self-blame going on, if I would have done this, if I could have done that. I don't know if you've been kind of navigating in that a little bit, but I first have to soften how you're looking at yourself. The next thing that I have to kind of give you the word is permission. I feel that you need to come back to yourself. I don't know if you're kind of looking for things outside of yourself, but I feel like I have to kind of come back to yourself and just come back and kind of get regrounded. And I also need to get you to ask what needs to fall away. What do I need? If I'm being reborn, if there's a rebirth going on, rebirth means new. So is there new things that you're holding back on a little bit? I also have to give you the word allowing, allowing things to change. When we're being shown challenging things, sometimes in that we're being shown what we need to shift from. Now, that doesn't mean you have to end relationships. That can often means I have to shift on how this is going. I really have to shift how this is going. Um, I also feel, Travis, that I feel that the path levels out. I don't feel all like the waves and the turbulence. I don't feel that as a persistent thing. I do feel that the path is going to level out. I also need to get you to lie flat on the ground. It's the most interesting thing. I need you to just kind of like flatten right out on the ground, and just kind of allow that rebirth energy to grow new roots. Like I feel like if I just feel like I gotta like plant you into the earth. I hope that that helps you there. I've got to be mindful of the time, you guys. Um, Looking forward to seeing you tonight at Sugar Daddy's. I can't wait. Tonight's a Sugar Daddy night. I'm already in excitement. I already have Spirit lining up. They've already lined up for tonight's event, so it's going to be really interesting. If I already have them lining up, it's going to be really interesting. Uh, the silent treatment is so damaging in relationships. I'm sorry you went through that. Yeah, the silent treatment. I'm a big communicator. I feel communication, even hard communication, is the way to go. Silent treatment is not very good. Okay, where are we here? So this is Moonrun. I feel like my home, my my currently be haunted. I collect antique vintage items and recently brought home a lot of items. I'm trying to figure out the best way to cleanse my space. So Moonrun. Number one, I would cleanse anything before it came in your home. I also close any doorways that are open to allow things in. So I'll just use what I do. The outside of my door, I have set it's a waterfall, like an invisible waterfall, and that waterfall I kind of reset every day. I just visualize it there. It's a water that's pouring down, and anything and anybody that comes into my house is going to have a lovely spiritual bath so that nothing's coming in. Because I just set the intention. There's a big waterfall there, and it's going to cleanse anybody and anything that comes in. I need you to do the same thing. We don't necessarily. It's all intention, remember. So you don't necessarily have to smudge every single item, but I need you to start kind of like protecting that space. I'm not allowing nothing in this house. That's not for my highest good. Now, I would give the house a good smudge, but I would also close off, and you can slam doors if that helps you. I would close off the allowing of any negativity or anything that doesn't belong in this household. I need to slam that out. Not allowed here. And our boundaries in with that is huge. So even protecting yourself. I protect myself even when I don't have to. Every single reading, even if it's a client that I've seen once a year for 10 years and I know they're lovely, I still protect myself energetically, right? So it's just I just don't allow it. Um, I do have to get moving, you guys. I have to be in Cambridge by 10 o'clock. So I'm going to be doing some work in the forest today. Some lovely healing work is going to be happening in the forest today, and I'm really excited for what's about to transpire there. Let us set some intentions on what does the group need to know. And thumbs up, you guys, if you're enjoying your time with me, or some of this is resonating with you. Thumbs up. What does the group need to know collectively? What do we need to know for the weekend? Let's set it at that. Okay. The boar. All right. The boar. Stop your procrastinating and move forward on that project that you started and have yet to finish. It's time to meet whatever situation or person in your life that's causing distress head on and achieve some sort of closure. Mm. You're at the beginning of a period of wealth, prosperity, and personal growth. Face your fears and do whatever is necessary to resolve them so that you can find peace. Whatever controversy you're involved in will soon be settled in a fair and just manner. Isn't that interesting? A lot of relationship conversations were discussed on the chat. Also about the fears. We talked about plucking out fears. We talked about healing. That's very interesting, and personal growth. We're always talking about personal growth here on the channel, aren't we? And how to navigate through it and how to process that. Procrastination is a message for me. Yeah. Yeah, that's a big one. Sending some love, Deanna. Finding peace. Finding peace and allowing peace. Allowing peace. Right? I think a big part of that is kind of allowing this stuff in, right? To acknowledge, and I think that's why spirit, I just had a light bulb go off of my head. I think that's why spirit gave us that challenge. How many peaceful moments are already around you, right? How much love do you already receive in a day, right? Just taking note of that. Powerful morning. I know it was a little bit short and sweet, but powerful morning. I love you, and as always, love, light, blessings, and have a spirit guided weekend. You guys have some fun this weekend. Okay, much love.